kitchen tools and gadgets. There are so many out there. Oftentimes when we think about kitchen tools and gadgets, the first thing that comes into our mind is the Le Creuset Dutch oven or the Vitamix. But the reality is a fully functional kitchen is a lot like a capsule wardrobe. You've got your basics. This is that pair of black skinny jeans and quality knitwear in your capsule wardrobe. And in the kitchen, it's things like a good knife or a heavy bottomed pan. These are things that you use day in and day out, and you want them to be really high quality and very functional. Next in your capsule wardrobe, you've got the nice to haves. This is that red blazer that every time you put on, you're like, ooh, I look good today. In the kitchen, it's things like glass containers so that you can meal prep and store food, or the Instant Pot. These are things that you don't necessarily need, but they're really nice to have. And last, but certainly not the least, you've got your investment items. These are things in your capsule wardrobe, like that designer handbag or the perfect black boot. In the kitchen, it's your Vitamix or an ice cream maker or the Le Creuset Dutch oven. So let's jump in and talk about what makes for a good kitchen kit. Hi, I'm Asta, and welcome to this Friday evening. This video is going to be divided into 3 parts. We're going to start out with the basic and essential kitchen tools and gadgets. Then we're going to talk about the nice to haves. And finally, we'll talk about the investment pieces. Everything I mention is going to be linked below in the description bar. And nothing is sponsored. It's just the things I love and use. So let's jump in and start talking about the basics. The first and the most basic and essential tool any good kitchen must have is a good knife. We often see knives sold in a set of 9 or 12 and sometimes even 15. But the reality is you only ever need 2 knives. You need a really good quality chef's knife and you need a serrated knife. You can use a chef's knife to cut everything from vegetables to fruit, and you'll reach for it at least a couple of times every single day. The second knife that you need is a good serrated knife. You can use this to slice through tomatoes or cut a baguette or bread, and between these 2 knives, you'll be able to accomplish everything you need in the kitchen. One quick tip when it comes to your knives is make sure that you hand wash them. Trust me, I know hand washing can be an absolute pain, but when it comes to knives, that is the way to go. Next up is a good cutting board. I generally like to have 2 on hand, a large one and a small one. The large one is great for when I want to meal prep and I want to cut a lot of fruits and vegetables and have everything in one place. The smaller cutting board, on the other hand, is perfect for mornings when you want to cut a lemon or quickly want to cut an apple for a snack. The smaller cutting board is a lot lighter and easier to wash quickly. One thing that I like to do to extend the life of my cutting boards is to oil them every 2 to 3 weeks. You can get a specialized cutting board oil, but I've found that using the olive oil from my kitchen cupboard works just as well. The next item on the essential list is a microplane. This is an amazing tool if you want to add oomph and juice to any dish. The fastest way to add flavor to things like grains or cut vegetables I've found is to add the zest and the juice of a lemon. And a microplane helps you do exactly that. Additionally, if you're someone who wants to grate a knob of ginger or a quick clove of garlic, you can use the microplane to do that as well. On number 4, you've got a good peeler. You want something really sharp that will quickly peel a butternut squash or a sweet potato. I use mine at least 2 to 3 times a day. Is it a basic item? Yes. But is it an absolute essential? Also yes. Next on the list is a pair of tongs. I use mine to flip chapatis and naans, but you could also use this for pancakes or if you just want to toss some roasted vegetables. Number 6 on the list is a good colander or a sieve. I use mine at least 2 to 3 times a day. to wash fruits and vegetables, if I'm draining pasta, for dal, for rice. It's an absolute essential and a true kitchen must-have. Next on the list is silicone spoons. Back in the day, I had a big pot of wooden spoons and I loved them. But as someone who uses non-stick cookware, I've come to realize silicone spoons are the way to go. They're a lot gentler on the non-stick surface, and if you cook with non-stick, it might make sense to transfer to silicone spoons instead of wooden spoons. I have a couple of them and I use them every single time I cook. The next essential is a tin opener. There isn't much to say about this. You use it to open cans of coconut milk or garbanzo beans if you're making a nice curry. It's a basic, but it is good to have in the kitchen. Number 9 on the list of essentials is a high quality steel flipper. I use this anytime I'm making roasted vegetables, or if you're making pancakes, you can use this to flip them. It is one of those tools that you'll get a lot of use out of. Last, and certainly not the least, is a set of good measuring spoons and cups. I have 2 tips when it comes to these. The first is save up and buy a high quality solid steel set. In the past, I bought those cute ones with gold handles and one that was cat-shaped. The reality is they don't last and they don't measure correctly, especially if you're baking. So don't make the mistake I did and buy high quality steel ones the very first time. The other thing I've learned is to not go for round measuring spoons because they won't go into your spice jars. Instead, go for rectangular or oval spoons which easily go into a spice jar and can help you measure. Now that we've covered all of the basic tools, let's talk about the essential pots and pans and baking supplies. When it comes to pots and pans, there's so much out there. You can get sets of 11, 13, I've even seen a set of 24. The reality is you only need 3. The first is a good non-stick pan. It is a perfect pan for things like pancakes and making a quick pasta. When it comes to non-stick, it's preferable to go with greener pans which don't use PFAs. My non-stick comes with a steamer basket which makes it a 2-in-1, and I use it practically every single day. In addition to a non-stick pan, you need a thick, heavy-bottomed saute pan. The heavier at the bottom, the less likely you are to burn things. There are 2 things I look for in a saute pan. The first is I like it to be made of stainless steel because I can take it from the stove to the oven directly. And the second is I like to buy pans with lids so that if I'm making something like a soup or a stew, I don't need to worry about splattering and I can let things simmer gently. The last and the final pan you need is a good saucepan. This pan will have higher sides so you can easily heat things up like soups and stews without worrying about splattering. I also use this pan to make rice and boil pasta. My steel pans are from All Clad. They were the first expensive purchase I made in the kitchen. I think I've had them for over 7 years and they've held up fabulously well. The next item that you need is a good, thick, heavy bottom baking tray. A thick bottom tray will ensure that the heat distributes evenly and your vegetables or cookies will roast evenly. It's something that you'll get a lot of use out of, and investing in a high quality tray is definitely the way to go. We've covered the tools and the pots and pans and the baking supplies. Now let's talk about the essential gadgets. If I could have only one gadget and I was on a student budget, I'd go for my hand blender. I got mine for under $30 and it came with a mini food processor, a whisk, a blender. You can use the food processor to make a quick curry base or a small batch of hummus. The blender function can be used to puree soups, and you can also use it to make smoothies, so you save money that way as well. If you're living in a tiny apartment or you're on a student budget, then this would be the gadget I would recommend. So those are my basic items. This is that skinny black jeans, this is that perfect crisp white shirt, or the camel trench coat, which make the foundation of any good capsule wardrobe. This is the foundation of your kitchen toolkit. Now that we've covered the basics, let's talk about the nice to have items. These are items that you don't really need, but they make your life easier and they bring you a lot of joy. And joy, like ice cream, is a good thing. So let's talk about them. The very first item that I would add once I had all of my basics covered would be an Instant Pot. It's a pressure cooker, it's a rice cooker, it's an air fryer, it can do so many things. It's an all-in-one gadget. It makes cooking really easy and a total breeze. You can pressure cook dal in under 20 minutes or make beans from scratch. I use mine at least a couple of times every single week, and it makes life so easy. I love throwing things into my Instant Pot and coming back 30 minutes or an hour later and having a nourishing, healthy meal that is ready for me. The next thing that I like to have is glass ball jars. You can get a set of 12 of these at Walmart for under 10 bucks, and they're such an easy and simple way to organize. I use them to store grains, lentils, pulses, pasta, all my pantry staples. You can see exactly what you have and how much of it you have, which makes pantry organization and upkeep easy as well. The third item on this list is glass storage containers. If you're someone like me and you like to meal prep and batch cook, then you need these in your life. I have a couple of different sizes, some square, some rectangle, some with 3 compartments, and they're an absolute must-have for meal prep and storage. Next up are reusable silicone covers. You'll have that leftover bowl of food or half an onion after you're done cooking, and normally we would use cling wrap or cling foil. These are a great substitute. You can get these in all different sizes so that you can cover different sizes of bowls and veggies, and I absolutely love them. They're so practical and they're better for the planet than cling foil, so why not bring them into your kitchen? Number 5 on the list is a knife sharpener. Even the best knives over time dull, and while you can use the back of a ceramic bowl to sharpen your knife, a knife sharpener is a much easier way to sharpen your knives. You can get really expensive electronic ones, but I prefer the manual one. I got mine on Amazon for under 10 bucks, and it works beautifully. A couple of strokes to the knife sharpener and my knife practically feels brand new. So why not spend the 10 bucks and make your life just a little bit easier? The next item I like to have is cooling racks. I use them to cool a loaf of bread or for cookies. You can get ones that are made of steel, that way they don't wrap and are really durable. Number 7 on the list is storage bags. I like to have 2 kinds. The first are heavy duty ones that you use in the grocery store to carry your fruits and veggies back home. These are great for the planet because they're reusable, and a lot of stores will give you a 5 or a 10-cent credit if you use your own bags. The second type of bags I like to use are these mesh bags. You can use them to put your fruit and vegetables in, so you don't have to use the plastic bags that you get in most grocery stores. It's an easy way to be more eco-friendly. You can toss these into the washer after a couple of uses and they'll come out like brand new. The last item on the nice to have list is one that I really struggled with. I kept thinking, do I really want to put it on the list? But I use it all the time and I love it so much that I had to. It's my trusty label maker. It's a cheap and easy way to make my pantry look super organized and a little like Pinterest goals. I got mine off of Amazon and it was fairly inexpensive, and it brings me so much joy. In my opinion, there is no such thing as too much labeling. There's no such thing. You can never have too much labeling. That is the last of the items which I think are nice to have. This in my head is like that leopard print belt or that red blazer. Do you need it in your closet? No. But does it make getting ready in the morning a lot more fun? Absolutely. With that, let's jump over and talk about investment pieces. Now that we've covered the basics and the nice to haves, let's talk about the investment pieces. This will vary a lot depending on what you cook and how you like to cook. If you're someone who drinks a green juice every single morning, then maybe you want to go and invest in a slow masticating juicer. Maybe you're someone who makes a lot of ice cream over the summer, then you need an ice cream machine. The investment pieces will be personalized to your cooking style and your needs, but let me share the 3 that are my investment pieces. Number 1 on the list is the Vitamix. A high-speed blender is really great if you're someone who, like me, makes a lot of smoothies and soups and curries. What I love about this blender is that you can control the speed, which lets you keep things chunky or blend them into a smooth puree depending on the texture you prefer. I've had mine for a couple of years and I've had no issues whatsoever. It's an expensive item, so you might want to ask this for a birthday or for a Christmas gift. Next on my list is a Berkey filter. Water is my drink of choice. While you can drink water from the tap as is in most cities, if you are someone who lives in apartments or older buildings, this is a worthy investment because oftentimes older construction has old pipes running through, and these filters can remove and purify all the toxins from the water. While it is an expensive system, the filters last a really long time and you can filter up to 6,000 gallons of water before you need to replace the filters I have. I thought of it as a worthy investment in my health to ensure that I was drinking clean and pure water. The last item, which is on my investment list, is good quality plates, bowls, and linens. My everyday plates are from Target, but when it comes to bowls and serveware, I like to pick up pieces that are hand-thrown and are from pottery studios. I picked these up from a studio in Nashville, and they have exposed rims, which makes me so happy every time I use them. But this does not need to be expensive. You can build your collection slowly and on a budget. A great place to shop for unique serveware is thrift stores. My goal is to slowly buy and build a collection that all works together but is unique to me. Those are my investment pieces, but yours will obviously vary depending on your unique circumstances and needs. I hope you found this video helpful, and all of the products that I've mentioned will be linked down below so that it can serve as a starting point for you as you build out your kitchen toolkit. I'm gonna sign off here, and I'll see you back here on this channel. Until then, namaste. Next on the list is a Berkey filter. Water is my drink of choice, or Sieve. I use mine at least 2 to 3 times a day. Why can I not say this? Let's do this. Can you see the spoon, or is it too dark? No? Next on the list is a silicone spoon. Sorry. Eesh. Next on the list is a silicone spoon. I will beat you! We're done.